What's up, guys? Amster Knows Hoops back today with another video. And today and this week, you guys are going to get content a little bit earlier than usual. I have graduation on Saturday. So we'll be back to Tuesday, Saturday at the beginning of next week. So today we are discussing a major second round matchup. The Dallas Mavericks versus Oklahoma City Thunder, who have already claimed a 1-0 lead in the series. And similar to what I talked about with the Mavs, or the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, I'm going to just be talking about what these teams need to do to adjust. And if you're OKC, what you do to put your foot on the gas and make sure this team can't find their footing. If Dallas can find their footing, things might get very gross for Oklahoma City. So, without further ado, I want to get right into what we're talking about. And the first thing here is Luka. This is easily the worst playoffs of Luka's career. I don't think it's even really a debate. Now, I understand, again, Amster, he's been hurt. That is true, but I also don't think he's been helping himself in the shots he's creating and the shots he does take that actually do go in. I'm like, why aren't you doing more of this versus 7, 8, 9, 10 threes a game? So let's get right into it, right? So you got Kyrie here, gets the Gafford screen. Luka starts to roam up, gets Lou Dort, right? Calls for, Gafford to come up to give him a little bit of assistance. So Dort going over the screen buys Luka a couple seconds of time. And you see Chet's trying to sort of cover the defensive distance. And funny enough, kind of pushing Lou Dort into the way of Luka. But thankfully, Luka's able to step back, bucket, right? But those are the easy buckets that Luka is known for in these playoffs. Even for his career, it's just the shots that are tough for so many, Luka makes look so simple, right? Gafford sort of weak screen, right? But again, steps back, puts his shoulder in. Now there's this little bit of a separation, a little bit of a gap. Turn around, midi, right? Now some of those shots are going to miss, right? Like, they're still tough shots. But those are what Luka should be that's what Luka should be working with. The high pick and roll here, love this, right? You get Chet one-on-one. Take advantage. Attack. Instead, he does this little step back three. I get it, it's open, but even for Luka, it's like the shot's not been falling. Like, at some point, as a top 5 player, you need to realize when whatever you're doing isn't working, either look to help the team in a different way or score in a different way. Because these step back threes, like, I know he's been cooking in the regular season, but it's been very abundantly clear in these playoffs. It ain't working. So stop doing that. Stop giving Oklahoma City, who, according to Glenn Glass, has been the number one defensive team in transition. They're, I believe, a top 3 half-court defense. They might actually be the best half-court defense in the playoffs so far because they haven't had an opponent score over or at 100 points. I want you guys to understand, in today's league, they are not scoring 100 points against this team right now. Now, I also think, again, you're playing at injured Pelicans. And they'll hit 100 today, I'm sure, Dallas. But don't give them outs that they don't need. Like, you guys don't need to give them such free reign. Right? Now, Luka here has J-Dub on him, right? And he sort of tries to measure him up. But Luka does a good job with his off arm, just kind of continuously pushing him away just little by little. This is a shot. I don't like this shot, right? You have Derrick Jones Jr. Kick it out to him. You have Tim Hardaway Jr., right? Like, you had other shots, and I know Luka can make those passes. So when I do see shots like that, I'm like, come on, Luka. I know we can do better. All right. Staggered, a little bit of a staggered screen action. Step back over, give it up to Derrick Jones. This is just a bad decision by Luka. To me, PJ Washington here is the move. Or I believe that's Kyrie. Give it to Kyrie. I mean, if you look, Shea and Dort are both fully committed here, and Giddey's committed in stopping this just right here, right over. SGA is not in the way of the pass, or you go over by PJ Washington. But to me, trying to force the ball in or just dribble it up, like, you have to force OKC to adjust, and you're not going to do that if you give them outs, right? Like, look at that. Beautiful, easy bucket, right? But the next thing I'm going to be talking about today is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who in the playoffs have been okay. I don't think he's been as great as he was in the regular season. I don't think he's been bad. He's been okay or good, right? Nothing remarkable. And let's get into what he needs to do to continue to make sure that he can help get this team possibly to finals with the way that everything's looking. So you get Josh Giddey here, right? Slowly bringing the ball up. We see Shea sort of start to sink to the corner. Out to Chet. Solid screen here by Chet, but nothing crazy. He hunts for Luka, right? He wants the Luka matchup. Boom. Gets on the outside of Luka. And at this point, Luka can't really adjust / catch up. Just him in the rim. That's an easy lay, right? So you're probably going to see a lot more of Shea and the Thunder actively hunting for Luka. So again, Shea's coming up. Cason Wallace sets a nice little light screen, but look again because he gets Luka on him. And you see too, Kyrie's kind of ready to slide over. And here I think the shot is kind of, I mean, he makes it right, and that's a great shot. But again, the bigger point is they're hunting for Luka. If you're OKC, I wouldn't stop doing that. Like, that is the way to go. That is how you force Dallas to get very uncomfortable. And you could see Kyrie was ready to shift over and possibly double. And I think Shea is a capable passer that he probably could have gotten it out. I believe to that was Cason Wallace, an elite shooter. And that's just easy points. Like, if they continue to hunt Luka, I think that could be very, 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 very damning for the Mavericks. Right, tough bucket, almost an and one. Could have called that an and one. But I also think, right, so then you get Shea in transition, kicks it up, slows it down. He goes, I'm right here. Let me go. Boom. And this is a shot that I'm not against, right? Because, again, it's Shea, and he's a very elite mid-range shooter. But I would just argue, like, so you go here, right? It's one of those things I'm like, either I think Chet should have slid over, and you actually see Cason Wallace pretty effortlessly get the backdoor. So you could argue that that's the pass. Even if it goes to Daniel Gafford, he could kick it out the door, who kicks it out to whoever. Right? But luckily they get the offensive board, and they just keep it pushing. Now, I think Shea defensively has been pretty good in this series, right? Like, Shea is behind Gafford here, sagging off of, I believe that's Derrick Jones. And you see him get behind him and get the tip, pause, on Daniel Gafford. Against the backboard, continues to push into the lane. And then you see Kyrie, right? I believe that's Aaron Wiggins trying to set up some defensive effort here. Gafford does a little, roll. And again, SGA playing that help defense, boom. Beautiful block off of Kyrie, right? Even though they get the board and the points, like, that's a great defensive possession if you're Oklahoma City. Now, I'm going to say what these next two players, because Shea and Luka, I think, have more so Luka's been struggling way more than Shea. But I think there are little tweaks for Shea, and I think for Luka, it's just, I don't know why he's running from what's working. And if the injury is that bad, then quite frankly, don't play. Like, at some point, for the betterment of your health, too, long term for the team, just don't play if it's that bad. But the next two players we're going to talk about, Jalen Williams, Kyrie Irving. Now, you might think, answer, why these two guys? I think when I went back and I watched the film of the first game, I think some of those shots Jalen Williams took, he would make most times out of 10. And Kyrie, he just needs to be assertive in the first half. I'm just going to be 100% honest. Like, I understand there's like a hot hand thing. Like, I think Daniel Gafford took more shots. Derrick Jones Jr. should not be taking more shots than you in the first half. I get it. You want to let Luka kind of get situated and going. But you're just as deadly. And if you can step up and make teams respect you and make teams have to adjust to you as well, Kyrie, that will help Luka even more than just letting Luka kind of have to ISO his way into building something. Like, help him out. I'm not saying that Kyrie's the reason they lost this game, by the way. I'm just saying if Kyrie was more assertive in the first half of some of these games, maybe they got out of the Clipper series earlier. Maybe it's a more competitive game for this. Let's just get right into it. Jalen Williams brings it up, right? And PJ Washington, it seems, it's his primary defender throughout this game, and it's probably going to stay that way throughout the series. So, the Williams to Williams connection, right? This is a wide open three. Like, these are things that Dallas cannot let happen, quite frankly. Like, why do you sink under? Why are you not fighting over the screen? Because even if he continues to push through, Derek Lively's right here. Like, they got very lucky they didn't make him pay. Right? And they get the O board, so it's like, even when a shot that should have gone in would miss, it's like, man, I don't know. And then you get Ludort, right? And now he's on Luka. This is a shot I'm not the biggest fan of. I would have probably kicked it here to the corner because you have just a wide open corner, man. But that's a shot he also normally makes. I'm a little mad at the shot selection timing just because, again, there's a even better shot available. I'm not one of those guys, don't take a midi. I think the mid-range is an underrated aspect of basketball today. But if there's a wide open three or a wide open cutter, layup, whatever, I'm taking the wide open shot over a far more contested spin around, fade away midi easily. So that's just what they frankly need to do. And I don't know what the hell this is, but like, look at Kyrie, right? Gets Derek Lively, slips over, gets Chet, who is there to protect the rim, stops on a dime, gets the shot up, right? Like, that is the way you want it to go. Easily. Like, not even close. Right? Miss here. Board. I believe that's Jaden Green. No, Jaden Green. My apologies. Kyrie, great backdoor cut. Right? Just be involved. If you get yourself more involved and don't just stand around, you're helping the team so much more. Like, gets the ball up to Luka, right? And he just starts to stop. And you see him kind of trying to call something. And it's like, I don't know. And it's just one of those things where you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not really sure what this team can do. I think Kyrie needs to simply be more assertive. And the Mavericks defense needs to do far better on Jalen Williams because he will make this team pay. And if those shots start to fall, which I think they would, because most of those shots I showed you guys wide open or a very tough midi, but showed another wide open shot, this might be a blowout. Like, these games might be blowouts if Jalen Williams really starts to land and Shake just keeps kind of doing what he's doing a little bit. I would say, again, continue to kind of attack the Luka matchup and try and get it to the rim. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Like, do you think this first game is very indicative of how the series is going to go? Do you think that this is more of an outlier game? Do you think Luka will kind of start to piece together? Do you think Kyrie will step forward? And do you think J-Dub's really going to start hitting these shots I was talking to you guys about? Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, this is Amsterdam Rose Hoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's hit 800 before the end of the second round. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.